digit, the schedule busy. My head in a hoodie, my shorty a goodie. My cousins are crazy, my cousin like boogie. Life is amazing.
Hey guys, so it's exam season. I hate, in capitals, H-A-T-E, exams. It's actually like my least favorite time of the year, like ever. I get so stressed, I feel sick, can't eat, but then get fat anyway because I like make myself eat and get spots on my face, and it's actually just horrible. Today I thought that I would share with you guys like my evening routine before an exam. So usually my exam is like 9:30 on the next day. I have like a really fixed routine on like what I do the day before, because realistically I've got stuff to cram. It's just about like the balance between like sleeping and also cramming as much as possible. I also thought that I would give you guys some advice on if you are cramming, like what to do. So best of luck for your exams, and I really hope that you guys enjoy my cramming routine before exams. Okay, so I just came back from the library and it was like a further away one, so it's about like a 15-20 minute walk. I went with my friend. Usually have some dinner, not because I'm hungry, because I don't get hungry when I'm like anxious, but I have it just because like it definitely like makes me more productive. Otherwise I just can't study when I've not eaten. I have some like meal prepped rice. I always meal prep most of the year round, but especially during exam season because I just don't have time to cook. And if I meal prep, it's faster than like having to queue for food and stuff, because that is also just like not fun when you're like the 10th one in a queue and you like need to cram. Every second counts. If you've ever had like Chinese hot pot, it's kind of like that, but I don't have a hot pot, so I just like made it in the pan, and it's got like this spicy sauce and all sorts of things like mushroom, fish, like tofu, things to like give me some nutrients, you know, before my exam. I am a massive fan of spicy food, so I'm gonna go heat up both of these in the microwave, about 2 minutes each, in the kitchen.
We'll need to approve this item when you pay.
Okay, so my dinner, and whilst I'm eating I am just going to look through my notes. I never ever do this, ever. I always use my meal times to either to chill, but not on the day before my exam. So yeah.
So the exam that I had the next day was Foundations of Statistical Inference, which was my first exam in the first week, and I was just basically just looking through the notes. This year nearly all of my exams were morning, except for one of them, which was like the penultimate one, which was afternoon. One thing that I always like to do in the evening is like a bit of a reset, so I opened the window, let in some fresh air, and then got changed into something more comfortable, brushed out my hair. Usually these make me feel a bit more awake and motivated. And then after dinner we were straight back to work, so I was just there like finishing up some flashcards, which this year any flashcards that I made I did 100% digitally.
Best study snack. I love sour sweets so much. I bought literally like a pack of like 200.
This exam season, for some reason, I was just really struggling with like anxiety for the whole of the exam season. I've never experienced it so much for my whole time at university, even though in terms of like actual exams, it was the best exam season ever. Like I only had 5 exams spread out over 3 weeks, as opposed to last year, for example, where we had literally 10 exams back to back over 2 weeks. And especially towards the end, I was finding it so hard just to like stay calm enough to actually be able to concentrate. And that was not something that I'd ever experienced before.
I'm starting to get like kind of sleepy. If I have an exam the next day, I usually go to sleep at like midnight / like 1. Yeah, by 9 I'm kind of getting tired, depending on the caffeine in my system. At 9 I usually like call home really quickly because I don't have that much time to speak because I have an exam tomorrow. But yeah, it's always the same conversation, like, Mom, I'm gonna fail. And then my mum was like, no you won't, it's okay. I'm so stupid, I'm gonna fail. It's like the same conversation every single time. I actually feel bad for my parents for having to put up with this, but you know. My room is such a disaster right now. Like, oh, okay. Mousetrap. These are past papers from one of my friends in the year above, who gave them to me, which was very kind. And notes from another one of my friends from the year above. And a mix of mine and other people's flashcards. All on the floor here. Because I was like revising with them and now they're like in a mess. Some of my rough notes, more of my notes. Exam season life, guys.
A method that I surprisingly enjoyed and sometimes actually managed to calm me down when I was feeling very stressed was writing on a whiteboard. I don't know if it was like a subconscious link in my brain back to primary school when work was a bit more fun. I also find that when you're doing long days, it is very useful to like change up what you're doing and like the method that you're using to revise. So you can do like questions sometimes and then like digital flashcards sometimes, writing on a whiteboard sometimes, which just helps to like not make revising so boring.
So this segment of today's video is sponsored by Skillshare.
Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives with thousands of classes led by industry experts, which includes like film, illustration, design, freelance, productivity, and so much more.
Hoping to get some inspiration on how to like optimize my productivity during exam season. One thing that I've been meaning to do for such a long time was Ali Abdul's amazing productivity master course on Skillshare. It was not only so useful, but also just like so enjoyable.
Skillshare has a large variety of learning paths, so now that I'm done with university, one thing on my bucket list is to understand a lot more about AI and in particular how it intersects with my other interest, which is content creation. The first 500 people to use my link in the description will receive 1 month free trial of Skillshare, so get started today.
Especially like the night before when I'm cramming, I feel like I have so many snacks. And then I wonder at the end of exam season, I'm like, whoa, I've gained weight. But you know what, it's fine. You only do exams once and you can lose weight for the rest of your life. Chamomile tea, my favourite. And caramel buttons are actually my newest obsession. Like, it's so hard not to eat the whole pack in one go. But yeah, I'll just have like a few and put the rest of them back in the fridge. I love chocolate when it's like really hard. Straight out of the fridge. Yum. Caramel is like one of those things that I just would not even think to buy. But then I went home and you know when you just like look in the food cupboard to see like what's there and you see like something that you probably wouldn't try but you can't really be bothered to go and get something else. So I just ate it and it was actually so good. Like I'm such a white chocolate person, but this is now my favourite chocolate. Also, I'm going to show you like the thing that actually saved me when like doing late night study sessions when you're feeling really tired. And I think it is a lot better for you than just like really stocking up on like caffeine products, is to like get yourself standing up. And if you don't have a standing desk, which at uni I don't, this is my setup when I'm like really desperate late at night. So ignore my washing up, but this is just like a cupboard that, you know, just has my clothes and next to my wardrobe and stuff. It's like a perfect standing height. And yeah, I just like stand here and like do some work. And it does just wake you up so much when you're feeling tired. If I really need to get work done and it's like late at night and I'm actually feeling like I want to just fall asleep right at my desk, I stand up and immediately within like 10 minutes I feel better than I did before. So it's great. Sometimes like I don't really want to be drinking like more energy drinks at like 11 p.m. Because I know it will like affect me when I go to sleep. So if I just stand up, it gives me like a bit of natural energy. So yeah, 10 p.m, 2 more hours of cramming and then I'm gonna call it a night.
This final study session that I do between like 10 and midnight the night before my exam is usually when I literally start hating my life and hating the subject and just hating everything about exam season. But if you do find yourself falling asleep at your desk or just entirely losing motivation, then I would highly recommend standing up. In terms of like what I was actually doing, usually at this point I like to just go over past papers, but it has to be past papers that I've already done. Like, I'm not going to do anything new at this point. I also make a note of things that I would like to go over the morning of, because I usually wake up at like 7, depending on the time that I manage to get to sleep, basically adding on 7 hours to whatever time I fell asleep. And then in the morning I have a good idea of the things that I need to skim over whilst I'm eating my whole breakfast and try not to be sick and just trying to get as much breakfast down as possible. I swear after all these exam seasons I will never be able to look at like full English breakfast ever again.
Midnight, I am ready to crash. I don't know why, only like my brain is tired. Oh my god, I need to stop doing this. Like, I always like lie in bed before I've like brushed my teeth and washed my face in the evening, and the thought of like getting back up to do that is just not appealing to me when you're like this tired. So I just thought that I would, like, before finishing this video, just give you like a couple of tips that I've like learned from trial and error over the years. Basically, the first thing is, I think 7 hours consistently during exam season and 6 hours at like an absolute push on the day before your exam is acceptable, and I feel like my brain can like perform at like a decent level. But anything less than that, I think you should prioritize sleep, especially if your exam involves like some thinking. If it's like complete like regurgitation, then I guess like if you feel like it's fine, then maybe less sleep and you feel like you need to finish learning it. Stay hydrated. This I just refilled. Drink at least 2 liters every day, and I feel like if I don't drink enough water, I always get like so many headaches. It just makes me feel a lot more tired than I probably actually am. I am gonna go to sleep, and then on the day of the exam, if it's 9:30, I usually wake up at like 6 or 7, and if it's afternoon, then I wake up like my usual time, like 7, and then yeah, do some work in the morning, and then eat lunch.
Hey there, and welcome to this meditation for sleep.
2 of my worst fears, and I feel like 2 of everyone's worst fears, is 1, not being able to fall asleep on the night before the exam, and 2 is not being able to wake up in the morning. So with going to sleep, this 10-minute meditation has always successfully gotten me to sleep, regardless of like how much caffeine I've had, how stressed I feel, how much my heart feels like it's like beating out of my chest. It always gets me to sleep. So I'd like really recommend that. I'll link it in the description box down below, the one that I use. And waking up in the morning, I set like 3 alarm clocks on different devices, including one that you need to like physically get up out of bed to turn off. Those are my 2 reasons, and it's never gone wrong for me. Touch wood.